really, right in the rib cage.
Wow.
Yeah, and then took off. Thankfully, didn't take a nibble.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're lucky that that's all it did.
But we were actually
I give it a whack.
we were headed around with a couple of guys from our crew. We're swimming. Shannon said, "Let's go out to sea a bit," because he enjoys the open water. And as we were pushing toward the horizon, headed out.
Currents pulling you this way. I mean,
the sun is setting. It was the tide was heading out. We knew that we were in trouble.
Danger was looming.
Danger was looming. But they always say, that's a risky time. But we'll never forget that moment.
Cool. Here's a question.
And it came out of nowhere. And we saw the shape, and I think
there's fish around. I mean,
was it Braxton that peed? This literally initially
I don't know, it
just
got
let
warmer.
his urine loose into the water.
It got warmer, but it was so
Braxton!
quick. But yeah, he does that when he gets excited.
Hold your bladder, bud.
He pees.
I'm sure Braxton is really happy right now with the fact.
Hey,
that
well, you know what? He's a big believer in
the
the truth.
Yeah, he's proud of his pee too.
All right, enough about Braxton.
Enough about Braxton. Let's move on to Lady Gaga, because here's a question from Sarah Loves Mars. Actually, a lot of your fans have asked this question. What do you think about Gaga announcing that she's trying to break your world record with 450 shows in only 2 years?
That's great. I think that'll be fun.
Hey,
for her.
I don't know if she called you out specifically.
She needs to get her facts straight. Okay, it's not in 2 years. It's one album cycle just for us happened to span 2 years.
That's
I think
right.
She's put out a couple of albums that time. Bring it on, Gaga. Let's do this.
I think it's great. If anyone out there is crazy enough to play that many shows for a single album cycle, it's great. And records. Yeah. The fun thing about records like this is it does encourage other people to push. So if I'm not saying this is encouraging her, but if it encourages anyone to reach a little deeper. To push a little harder, I think that's a wonderful thing. And we love the Gaga, and she's a really creative, interesting artist, and I'm sure she's if you're having fun doing it, it also you kind of want to play as many shows as you possibly can, and I'm sure it's a blast, and she probably has a great time doing it. So, best of luck to her. But remember. Miss Gaga, sleep, treat yourself well, eat great, stay healthy, because that's a lot of shows.
Above all, eat, stay healthy.
Yes.
Let's stay on the concert tip with a question from the only DBLD. What was your first concert? We'll just go right down the row and be real.
The first concert we ever attended was probably Jared and I when we were kids. We probably
it was Zeppelin or
something like that.
My mom took us to
Hendrix
Zeppelin
or something.
Hendrix or something, which sounds
come on.
No.
impossible, but it's true.
Yeah. She was a young woman and traveling the globe and
she took her little babies to these
backpacking,
concerts.
yeah.
One of my earliest memories of my life is being at an arena show, and this band was playing in the round. In all the park cans, the blue and smoky red.
Janis Joplin.
Super loud noise. I remember it being so loud.
It was Janis Joplin.
Was it?
Yeah.
My mom would bring us to those concerts.
See, I get so jealous when people say that because it's like, my first concert was. It was
Selena
like
Gomez
Edition or something like that.
It was.
But it's just like, oh yeah, like Zeppelin was my first.
Not
show,
even Jodeci. It was New Edition.
Yeah. I mean, who are awesome, but
No, they had a moment
Zeppelin,
for sure.
I've seen them both.
So yeah, my mom had great taste in music, and that was the time. That was the music that was around at the time.
Right.
Music has changed a lot, and
that it has.
It's so funny because the Gaga thing just made me remember that I always see these Twitters that say, "I wish you and Gaga would have babies," which is very sweet. And you just have to take it as a compliment.
I think they would be beautiful babies.
I'm saying I wouldn't bring it up if it was just one or two, but I've seen
millions of them.
Like hundreds of these Twitters. These kids are so damn horny out there on the internet.
Well, I think she's single. I mean, so
well,
if
I would
What's
should
going
probably
on
put
here?
a period at
What's
the end of the
happening
sentence right now. But
What's happening?
It just made me remember that. Remember.
I
It's
remember.
So bizarre.
I'm just saying that if she happens to be watching right now,
well, I'm sure she'd make a wonderful mother. And then what? Someone said they would be Esha monsters.
Esha monsters. There you go.
Or Monstalons. There you go.
Before we move on, we didn't get your first concert.
Oh, Nirvana. That's right.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right?
Hey, destined for
Alright.
this life, I guess.
I know it was
he's a
like
modern
Tiffany,
man.
Debbie Gibson,
No.
Stacy
Let
Q,
me tell you
whatever.
something.
Instead we have
Stacey
Zeppelin
Q.
and Nirvana. Stacey
Oh
Q.
my
I'm
God.
trying to keep it real. Okay, let's
Win in
move
Rome.
on to an Abby. They're
Win
a
in Rome.
great
Frank
band.
it goes to
Win in Rome was a
Hollywood. That
great
would have been
band.
fun.
It's Aced wants to know, is it true that we can expect the fourth album in the end of 2012?
No.
Absolutely not true.
I don't think that's the truth. We've been really hesitant to talk about the future for many reasons. And it's probably too much to get into right now at this Billboard live stream. But the future is an exciting place, and I think that when we are clear, then we'll share our thoughts.
All right.
That's it right there.
But until then,
Clarity
it will all remain a
needs to
mystery.
happen.
Yeah. I just, I feel so much gratitude for the gift of this record-breaking tour. It's been incredible. I mean, we've seen things that we've never dreamed of before. And I don't think any of us ever thought that things would happen in quite this way. The scale has been mind-blowing. The surprises have been consistently surprising. It's been incredible. I mean, I wish that everyone could come on the road and see what we've seen, and it's the gift of a lifetime. Under these glasses right now, there's a big dark tear boiling to the surface. I cry blood, so I'm keeping my glasses on.
Speaking of all the different experiences that you've had while you've been on the road for this past 2 years, Killjoys on Mars wants to know, what's the most interesting food you ate during the entire tour?
That would be a Tomo
Oh,
question.
I mean, definitely the weirdest food I ate was in Indonesia, in Jakarta.
Hear that laugh? That was human meat. He had human meat. There was a man there that cut off pieces of his flesh.
And he was roasting it on a hibachi outside.
His own flesh, and he had scars all over his body. He would cut these thin little strips, and then you'd fry him up on a skewer.
But the flavor,
What was coming from his pipe, the flavor.
robust,
Pipe.
earthy, unique.
So you went cannibal for a little bit.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with it, man.
a little man meat.
Maybe there is, but
nothing wrong with a little man meat.
oh,
There you
good
go.
lord.
There you go.
Hardy, hard,
Let's
hard,
just
hard,
move
hard,
right
hard.
on. Here is one from, I'm not going to pronounce this. Zimbat44, who wants to know, what one movie did you obsess about when you were a kid?
I think my brother and I had pretty specific taste in films. We didn't always go for just the big films. We liked other films as well, art films and things like that. But certainly, when we were kids, movies like Apocalypse Now, Kubrick's films, The Shining was obviously a big film for us. What do you think?
Yeah, all those. Yeah, I'm just remembering when you're a kid watching these movies. Your imagination is just intense.
When you're 4 watching Apocalypse Now.
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sure
you know
that
what I mean? You start dressing up in war
That's
and
what we-
shouting.
we- I mean, The Warriors was a big movie for us.
That was a
when we
big
were
one.
kids.
I think that was it. The Warriors.
King of New York was great.
We tried to emulate those guys.
Such good movies.
Start
man.
gangs.
Annie on Mars has a very thoughtful and timely question. What is your contribution against global warming? And I actually know that this is an issue that is really important to you guys.
We've done a lot of things. I mean, Shannon a few years ago started a push using waste vegetable oil and biofuel in our tour buses. Before it was popular, I mean, people were doing it, but I would say that was in, years, many, many years ago.
Also, the A Beautiful Lie video helped launched abeautifullie.org, which kind of
we've used to share some of our interests.
Yeah.
And when you have a bit of a soapbox, the best way you can use it is just by sharing information.
Yeah.
Living in the information age, like right now, if you want to follow some of like A Beautiful Lie org or ABL org, what's the Twitter handle? Is it
at ABL org, I think.
Yeah, ABL org. That's A Beautiful Lie org's Twitter handle. There are organizations that we support, whether it's Amazon Watch, Partners in Health. We are involved with some work in Haiti, and our last concert here in New York is actually a benefit for Haiti. So that'll be the very last show that we play will be a benefit, and it's at the St. Peter's of Chelsea Church, and that's it'll be a nice way to say goodbye.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that, because I know that you're actually doing something very different from the rest of your shows.
We're doing 4 shows in New York to end this over 2-year experience on the road, and 2 of them are at Hammerstein. They're both all the shows are sold out. Thank you for that very much. But the last 2 shows are at a church, and we've been told there's never been a band to play there ever, so that's kind of fun. And the very last night will be a benefit with all the proceeds going to help people in need in Haiti. I was there a year ago shooting photographs for a book that I'm making on Haiti, a giant photo book with words and pictures. And Haiti's an interesting place for my brother and I because we spent time there as kids. And so we have an attachment to this beautiful and challenged country. And it's a way for us to give back a little bit and say thanks and to do something that's part of the solution.
Very cool. Let's see. Camila Echelon. Actually, let me ask this question first. CTT Echelon. We have the Echelon totally blew up our servers this morning. There's so many questions
I hope
they
so.
want to know.
Nothing makes me happier than when the Echelon
know.
shuts down websites.
I love it.
And I'm surprised anyone can watch this right now because we're not so overloaded. But here's a